Okay, hi everyone. Daryl here. So this is actually lesson 11 in my Investing 101 YouTube series. Today we're going to talk about caveat. Okay, so let's get on. Okay, so what is a caveat? A caveat is actually an interest, a notice of specific conditions. Okay, so for property owners in Singapore, it's actually a legal document lodged with the Singapore Land Authority, which is SLA, against the property. So whenever if you have sold a property before, whether it's even if it's a HDB, you will actually issue the option to the buyer. Then the buyer will actually go and look for his lawyer to do conveyancing. So the lawyer will actually assist the buyer to lodge a caveat with the Singapore Land Authority against the property. Okay, then you will receive this letter. So actually, I've been in real estate for some time, and I always get questions from my clients, the sellers of the properties. They always ask me, hey, why is it that SLA sent me a letter? Well, the reason SLA sent you a letter is because a caveat has been lodged by the buyer on your property. Okay, so there must be an interest in the property, and when the buyer lodges the caveat, right, the caveat has to be accepted by SLA. Okay, so once the caveat is accepted, the application is accepted by SLA, then the caveat notice will be served on the owner of the property. So you receive a letter from SLA saying that your house, there's a caveat that is placed on your property. Okay, so the parties that can lodge a caveat on the property is not limited to this list. Okay, the buyer who has paid a deposit to buy the property. So if the buyer purchases the option, then he pays you a deposit, he gets his lawyer to lodge a caveat, he can do so. Okay, so the financial institution which granted the loan, so let's say you take a loan from the bank, then the bank has the right to lodge the caveat on the property as well. So that when you sell the property, the monies, right, that are owing to this financial institution, the bank or whatsoever, will be returned to them. Okay, because before you sell the house, all these caveats must be cleared. Okay, so there must be no encumbrances. Okay, and then the another party that can lodge a caveat, right, is actually CPF board. So when the CPF funds are released, so you apply to CPF board saying that I want to use my CPF funds to pay for my property. Okay, then when these funds are released from your CPF account, CPF board will actually lodge a caveat also on your property. Okay, so the caveat is useful because it prevents further dealings on the same property. So imagine if, let's say, I'm the owner of a certain property, then what I do is that I I go out and tell buyer A, say that, hey, I want to sell this property, so you pay me 1%. Let's say my house is $1 million, you pay me 1%, so it's $10,000. So I collect this $10,000. This buyer has to lodge a caveat. If he doesn't lodge a caveat, right, I can actually go to the same buyer, go to another buyer and say that, hey, tell him the same thing. Hey, I want to sell my house. You give me 1%, I sell you the option for $1 million sale price. Then, this buyer, right, before he issues the option, he will normally ask his property agent, or he will go to the Singapore Land Authority and check the title to the property. So if he actually sees that there is already a caveat lodged by buyer A, right, then he being buyer B, right, he will know, hey, actually you already issued the option. There's a buyer who already paid you a deposit. You cannot take another deposit from me. So the caveat prevents further dealings on the same property. So before you purchase a property, right, you are supposed to do checks on the title of the property. So if you don't know how to do these checks, please go and engage your property agent to do these checks for you. Okay, so that you won't be at risk of putting a deposit on a property whereby someone has already had some dealings or some interest in the property already. Then that can lead to a very long extended process of clearing this. Okay, so then whenever a caveat is lodged, so SLA will actually send the owner of the property a letter, right? So this owner has the right to dispute the caveat. He can say, hey, uh, I didn't have this dealing, so actually you I don't agree with this caveat. Okay, but if let's say the owner agrees, that means the owner really take deposit from the buyer. Then the buyer has the right to lodge a caveat on the property. Then if the owner agrees to this interest claim, right, no action is required. So you receive the letter from Singapore Land Authority, SLA, right? Do nothing. Don't need to do anything because it's the right process. Okay, so that's all for today. See you at the next video. Okay, thanks.